Hi, and welcome to webinar 39. For this webinar, we'll be doing a questions and answers session. As for last week, we covered innovative marketing strategies for your print-on-demand wall art store, and we discussed some of the unique ways that you can market yourself at a low cost. What's great is that we kind of tailored this for wall art stores or places or people who sell wall art. Um, Specifically, I think there's a lot of potential for marketing as you have a unique advantage with your really interesting imagery and ways you can connect with people. So, if that is of interest to you and you want to know more about that topic, we do have it on our YouTube channel here as well. And what's interesting about at least this week's webinar is that we are doing it pre recorded and it will be premiered on YouTube. So, if you're seeing this on the premiere date of Thursday, the the 16th, actually. Um, Welcome and thank you for joining us during the premiere. Um, we'll be covering some commonly asked questions from, the last few episodes, and if not, from customer service and things they've been getting questions for, and also your submissions as well. Thank you for guys for submitting questions that you guys want answered from us, and we always appreciate hearing you guys' feedback and what you want to know more about as either Lumaprints or our products or any other things that come into play. But let's go ahead and dive right in. The first question is, will the orders have the Lumaprints name and branding? What is the name and address on the shipping label? This is a great question and one that we receive quite often. Um, so just to let you know, for the most part, if it is a product that is submitted through your store, i.e., something that you process on lumaprints.com under your store name or your brand name, then it's not going to have any of our branding, and it's going to be white labeled, if you will. And if it doesn't have your store's name on the packaging, it will then just default to fulfillment center. So rest assured, when it comes to the product itself, the packaging, the invoice, if it comes included, they will not have Luma prints on it, and you don't have to worry about that. The next question is about preparing images, and someone asked, how can I ensure my prints will be of the best quality? And so this is a question we also get often, and I think that it's really hard just to answer it in one go or in general, but I do want to give some pointers out, and hopefully with uh, kind of this answer, you can now know and figure out whether your image of your specific resolution is good for the print size. And I say this because oftentimes customers will ask us, well, will this resolution be good for this image size, 9 by 10 or 11 by 14, and so on and so forth. And just kind of as a understanding of high resolution and quality, there is no such thing as best resolution to best image size. You could have something that has a lot of resolution or that is really big in size as an image file, but it could still be badly captured. It could still have blurriness. It could still not be something that is ready for print. And in which case, right now, I kind of want to give you kind of define what would be considered high resolution or what I would consider good for printing. And one is that, yes, the dimensions do have to be large, and that's kind of like a base understanding of a good image file, but it's not absolute. And you're going to need the second part, which is there's no fuzziness when your image is to scale. So I will have up here a video showing how I personally make sure my images are good for printing, and something that I think a lot of people can, adapt into their own, uh, I would say, image checking, if you will. And so what we're looking for is a one-to-one ratio of ruler in person versus ruler in your editing software. So so to make sure that the image is to scale, you would need a ruler in person and also a ruler in your editing software, whether that is Adobe Photoshop or alternatives to that. As long as you could see how large the zoom is in conjunction with the ruler, you should be good to go. Um, I think that when you have it one to a real life ruler versus an editing software ruler, you can see how the image is going to look like to scale and how it's going to look printed. Because oftentimes 100% zoom does not mean it's to scale, nor does it mean that that is what it's going to look like in person. Because oftentimes you could see something at 100% zoom and it might look a little blurry, or it might look very sharp. And then when you print it out, you're confused as to why it looks, not so sharp anymore. And that's because it's not to scale, it's just to scale within the program, but it's not into scale to what it's going to be in person. So once you scale your ruler to your editing software ruler, you can do so by toggling the zoom feature. If you're on Photoshop, what I like to do is um, click on the number on the zoom in the navigational window that's usually there as a default. And there I just toggle up and down depending on where I need to go. In this case, I start at 100%, but I realize that my ruler is still not to scale. So I go up 20, 15 points, and then I go up further until I have reached the 1-to-1 scale where the ruler is 1-to-1 per inch, and that's how it will look like once printed. And there I examine the image and I could see if there's any blurriness or anything that I don't want depicted in the final print file. And for me, this looks great, this looks sharp, this looks high resolution, and the colors look great. So this to me is good for printing. Um, I say that if you want to know if it'll look good printed, make sure you resize your image to what it's going to be physically. So um, look at your image size and try to resize it to the proportion you're going to print it at. So if you're going to have it at a 9 by 20, a 9 by 12, or an 8 by 10, or something bigger, resize it to that and check to see if your DPI looks good. 72 DPI is better for web, but not so good for printing. You'll want to look at 200 or 300 as your base DPI. And so once you kind of configure all that, then you could kind of examine how your image looks like once it's been resized. And again, do the ruler scale, do the ruler scaling, if you will. The next question is, how do I price my products and how much should my markup be? So a good rule of thumb is in my opinion, is twice the production and handling cost. And so, while each customer prices their products differently with different variables in mind, we could start with a general rule and something you can use as a jumping off point. Um, I think that the first thing to consider is, of course, the cost of the print or the cost of the product that you're selling. From there, you can consider factors like website hosting costs, shipping costs, and design fees. You could definitely include other items that make sense for you in your store. But for this time around, and for the sake of this example, we're going to do the product cost rather, and then the shipping cost. So in this example, I have a 20 by 20 archival mat that is priced at $9.73. And then I calculated the shipping cost on our website using a rural address. So it's going to be a shipping cost on the higher end, which is $9. This is probably going to be the highest my shipping is going to be, and I'll be using that as what to add to my price point. In the event that someone decides to request your image and they live very far away, you could at least make sure that your price is able to account for such a high shipping rate. Um, and then once you add those together, it ends up being 1873. And consider this the cost of creating and shipping your product, and something you want to make sure at the very least you're paying to cover that. From there, I personally would suggest doubling it just so you can make a worthwhile profit from it. Um, and that if you double it, it will equal to 37.46. And from there, I like to just top off the number to make it look good. And that's up to you what that might look like. For some people, they see the number 37.46 might not be the most appealing. Um, Numbers to consider, like I show here, is $36.99 or $38 flat. It could be $37. It could be $35.99. It could be $40. But the idea is, at the very least, one, you cover the base of your costs, and secondly, you made sure you had enough cushion for your own profit. So, as you kind of develop your own pricing strategies later on, this may change if you decide to accommodate for an economical price point for a specific product, see how that looks like. There are different variables to take into consideration, but at the very least, I would say that what I'm showing here is a very simplistic and easy way to start creating prices for your store and for your products. Next question. I noticed a new category for freight shipping. What are some examples of when that shipping classification should be chosen? So sizes starting around 47 by 60 are automatically shipped via freight. And then additionally, bulk orders are also shipped freight as so long as it is the same address. So those are the two situations in which freight will be the viable option. And small quantities and small sizes, shipping freight just doesn't make sense for it. The idea is that if you're paying too much for shipping with carriers, then we're going to then include freight shipping instead as the more economical one. And again, that applies to really large canvas sizes. Again, 47 by 60. Or if you're buying multiple products at once, that'll be going to the same address. Next question is, how does it work with selling limited edition prints? If you decide to sell a limited edition, you can either one, have a complimentary printout of each piece sold, um, and that will include the number on it or an authentication certificate or something to indicate that this is one of a kind or it's limited edition. Of course, if you want to step up and you're already offering a premium product, then to me, I would suggest you order a fine art paper piece with that will cost like a couple extra dollars, but at least it will elevate the product from a printer paper to a more thicker, richer paper. And from there, you could upload an authentication certificate as the fine art paper image. Additionally, we would suggest to leave into the special instructions letting us know that the fine art paper piece is a certificate to keep together with the limited edition print. We usually ship things together, yes, but there are times where we do ship things separately for speed and to get things out as soon as possible. In this case, we want to make sure they ship together. So if you leave the special instruction, you should be good to go. Next question. I have images that are larger than 100 MB. How should I use it for my orders? Okay, so if you guys don't know, our website kind of caps the image file size at 100 MB, which does count for a lot of images, but I know that there are some really oversized image files that need to count for when we're doing large prints. In which case, yes, we do accept those image files, but in order to send image files, we would just ask that you, one, upload a link that says placeholder for the image when you're processing the product itself on lumaprints.com. And once you submit the order, you can then email us with your image file, and we suggest we transfer as you can upload a high image file size, and it'll be saved as a link for this for then us to open, and we could save the image from there. I know not all emails, you could send really big image files as well, so we transfer makes sense in this case. And just let us know the order number in the email, and we'll go ahead and replace the placeholder blank image with the image that you sent to us. What's useful is that we process all these images. There's a human eye watching these images as they're being processed. When we see a blank image that says placeholder, we'll know that we're waiting for a replacement to cover that. Next question. Do you offer print samples, and how do you order print samples? This is a great question. We do offer sample prints for our customers in either paper prints or unstretched canvas, especially for the first time around. We either add a specific amount for your order onto your wallet, and then you could make the order there, and with the value already inserted into your wallet, we'll be paying for it. Additionally, what we could also do is you send us the photo and we could process a sample for you. Either way, if you want to see what the image is going to look like or what the colors are going to look like, this is a great way to preview it. Thereafter, if you would like to do, say, a sample for every time you decide to do a new piece and you just want to see what it looks like before sending it to your customers, then paper prints or rolled canvases are very feasible and very economical for sampling. And even with paper prints, for example, your paper prints could be probably around $2 to $3 with shipping, and even then, that's not that much. Next question. Can you add inserts or gift notes, and what is the size of the printout included in the order? So we always offer courtesy printouts for marketing materials such as gift notes on standard printer paper. Like we mentioned with the limited edition question, if you would like to have custom size paper or a different paper from printer paper, then we suggest you add a fine art paper print. And depending on the size, it could be as little as $2. Just make sure to add in the special instruction that the fine art paper is an insert for the product that it's accompanying. And lastly, do you offer G-Clay printing? All our products are considered G-Clay printing as we use high DPI files um, and print with archival inks onto archival materials. And we use genuine Epson printers that have multiple color cartridges. So this allows for high resolution and high gamut range prints. So consider all our products G-Clay. And that's about all the questions for today. Of course, if there's any follow-up questions that you guys are interested in learning more about, feel free to drop them off in the YouTube comments down below, and I'll be sure to answer them as soon as I'm back. And in the meantime, we'll hang tight, and we will be working on the next season's webinar topics and the like. So if you're interested in our new season, be free to subscribe, as I'm sure we'll be uploading those YouTube videos here as well. And then we'll also continue hosting webinars on Zoom. So keep that in mind. And see you guys next month. Bye.